Hello everybody and welcome back to a Thinking Pack episode 7, I think it is now. So basically last time we just basically wandered around and did a lot of talking and got some more fuel for the quarry. But basically last episode, I had intended for last episode to be basically an introduction to programming in ComputerCraft. And then this episode would have been making a project to be able to get lava buckets from the lava pits down at, underground to the quarry that's up on top of the mountain behind me. And so I had intended for last episode to be an introduction to programming, and then this episode I would have been programming the specific project to be able to do that with the lava buckets. However, it turned out that more like last episode was the introduction to programming, and then next episode will be the actual project. So anyways, we'll see how that goes. Or, well, I suppose it already went, so anyways. But basically what we're going to be doing this episode is we're going to be starting a project. So our previous project was a project you can sort of see just behind the hill over there, the quarry, the edge of the quarry. I got an egg. That's nice. So anyways, the last project we were doing, that's what I was talking about. The last project we were doing was to get a quarry, so we were doing mining and everything, and I thought it would be basically our last mining of the series because we could just let the quarry do the mining from that point on. Except there was one thing I forgot about, which is that the quarry requires power, and in order to power that quarry, it requires... Hello. Bye-bye. Chicken wants to go swimming, apparently. So the quarry requires power, and in order to get the power for the quarry, we either need to use charcoal or something like that, or we can use the best power, the best fuel power, which I have found, which is lava power. And in order to get the lava power, we need to go down underground to pick up the lava buckets, and then up to the surface to drop off the lava buckets and and place them in the quarry when the quarry is ready for them and everything like that. And it requires a lot of work to be able to do that. And so basically what we are doing this time, what we need to do this time is basically I would like to basically automate everything that we can possibly automate. So what we're going to do, rather than doing the manual work of going all the way down to get the lava and then all the way back, not up quite that high, only up this high, but anyways, all the way up and then all the way down and then all the way up and all the way down and all the way up and all the way like that. Rather than doing that, what we're going to do is we are going to make an automatic system to be able to do that for us. So the system that I did a little bit of experimenting, basically, and the system I've got working is semi-automatic. Not all the parts are working, but some of them are. So that's going to be great. It's going to help us take... No? Yes! Hello! But it's going to help us take a lot of the... Stop interrupting! Cow. Pay attention to me when I'm talking to you, okay? No? Okay. I guess the cow doesn't want to pay attention. But anyways, it's rather than having to do all the manual labor of taking the fuel for the quarry all the way up and all the way down and everything, we're going to make as much of an automated system as we can to be able to do that. So what we're going to use is a turtle, and I will explain and demonstrate what a turtle does pretty soon. But what we need to do, first of all, is we need to be able to actually craft that turtle. So let's see what we need. In order to make the turtle, we need a whole bunch of iron, we need a chest, and we need a computer. Actually, that's more iron than we have, because I went and got a little bit more iron last time, because the quarry's not down there yet. And then I used the iron on buckets to be able to fuel the quarry. So, yeah. So we need to go get some more iron to be able to make the turtle. Oh, and I'm stuck in a block again. So let's see where we can find some iron around here. Any down there? Any down there? None so far that I can see. Oh, and apparently we can go a whole nother layer down. Oh, there's some iron. So we need 7 iron. We already have 1. And then we just mined 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So now we have 9 iron, so that should be pretty good. And might as well grab this redstone while we're at it, just since we're right here. So anyways, let's head back up to the surface and then do something with this iron, which would be smelting it. So that's for the iron. The other thing we need is we need to make a computer, because the turtle, you need to craft it using a computer. And I happen to know that those computers require stone. That's smooth stone, not I'm just looking for the charcoal, but it's in my inventory here. No. Here's a way. So last time I was trying to demonstrate that 1 piece of charcoal smelts 8 items. So we have 8 iron here. I'm going to stick 1 piece of charcoal in, and I'm going to show you that it smelts 8 items. So anyways, smooth stone. We need smooth stone to make the computer. So let me demonstrate here. So here's the turtle. Here's the crafting recipe for the turtle, which requires a computer. And in order to make the computer, we need redstone, glass panes, and a whole bunch of stone. 7 stone. So stone, we need to stick cobblestone in the furnace. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then stick the charcoal in order to smelt these 7 cobblestone. And we also need a glass pane. Glass panes require glass, and if I remember correctly, it's like that. Yes, it's like that. We got, so 6 glass panes, no, 6 glass makes 16 glass panes. So that's great. So we're on our way to crafting the turtle. And so let's see. The 8 items that we stuck in are going to all come out the other end, all smelted. There we go, and might as well throw a little bit of sand in just for whatever fuel is left. But anyways, so now we've got the iron that's required. We need a chest. So we need wood, like this. And we missed one. There we go. So there's a chest, and now all we need is this computer, which requires stone and glass panes and redstone, and I have redstone and glass panes. We just need the stone that is right here. And one more, there we go. And so now we can shift-click the question mark to craft a computer. And before I craft this into a turtle, I'm just going to demonstrate what the computer does. So basically, you place it down, and it does nothing. All right, bye-bye. No, but anyways, so you place the computer down, and it does nothing until you right-click on it, and then it turns on. So now you can see, if I go back out here, that it's got this little flashing, like, it's like a prompt signal, like if some text editing programs, if you're typing or whatever, most of them nowadays have like an upwards line that flashes, but this one has a sideways line that flashes, so it's basically the same thing. It's to show where your cursor is, although this, on the block, it's just for demonstration purposes. Anyways, here, it is to show where your cursor is. So, yeah, which is kind of basic information. So, basically, we got this. This is the interface for the computer, and we can do all kinds of stuff with it. But just on its own like this, it just sits there and does absolutely nothing. So, basically, I'm not going to spend my time demonstrating the... Well, not just my time, but I'm not going to spend my time and your time, whoever you are who are watching this, but demonstrating the computer, because it does basically the same things as the turtle, except that it can't move around. So, here's what the turtle looks like. So, here's the front of the turtle, and here's the back of the turtle, and so this is basically a turtle. So, let's open the turtle, and now it turns on, and the computer has a flashing thing on the outside. The turtle doesn't seem to have that. But anyways, so now we got our turtle. So basically a difference between the turtle and... I just realized I might as well smelt some more stone while I'm at it. So I'm going to use 3 charcoal for the job. And so then the 3 charcoal will smelt as much stone as they want. But anyways, so here's the turtle. Here's the basic interface of the turtle. So basically what we can do from this point is... Actually, first I should explain these slots here are the easiest thing to explain. So basically what we have over here, like here's the dividing line. It's all this stuff over here. Whoops, picking up some dirt. But all this stuff over here, basically what it is my inventory. So as you can tell, like this is my inventory here, and this is showing the same inventory that I have. And then over here, these slots are the turtle's inventory. So basically a turtle is basically like a robot that can move around and can do things and can pick things up and can put things down and do all kinds of stuff. And, well, I didn't know I'd be explaining this to a piggy, but apparently I am. So apparently the piggy's interested. You're interested? No? Oh, yes? Okay, well, we shall explain this to a piggy. So anyways, so here's the basic interface of the turtle, and we can tell it to do different things. So like if we tell it to go forwards, I think it's with an S. Yes. It says out of fuel because it has no fuel. So what we need to do is, I'm actually going to give it lava just because why not? So what we're going to do is tell it to refuel. And then you can see this lava bucket here. It just took the lava bucket and took the lava out. And it says fuel level is 1,000. So it gets 1,000 from a lava bucket. And now we just have a regular bucket here. So fuel level is 1,000. And we got here, we can stick in a piece of charcoal and just to see the difference. So this is kind of demonstrating what I was talking about last time about how the lava buckets provide so much more power than the charcoal does. So from one lava bucket we got 1,000 fuel. From one piece of charcoal, if I tell it to refuel again, it says fuel level is 1,080. So that's the 1,000 that we got from the bucket of lava plus 80 that we got from the charcoal. So lava buckets last way longer than charcoal. That, let's see, 80, that would be, well, let's say a piece of charcoal were 100, a lava bucket lasts 10 times as long, except a piece of charcoal is not 100, a piece of charcoal is 80, so it's more than 10 times as long. Anyways, let's see where this got, oh wow, that's nice. So the quarry's gotten all the way down there, just on that one lava bucket and the few pieces of coal that we put in before. And picked up 7 more coal out of the deal. So that's really nice. So as you can see, the quarry keeps digging down. There's the coal down there. And as it digs each piece, then it picks it up. So we've already got some coal out of this quarry. And some cobblestone and some dirt. So, yeah. So it's going quite nicely. Anyways, let's get down here. And preferably not die while we're jumping down the hill. So, back to the turtle. So, we got here. The turtle is now refueled. So now if I tell it, go forward, then you can see, if you can sort of see behind the interface there, the turtle just moved. So it was over here, and now it's over here. So like if I tell it go forward, I can press the up arrow to do the same command I did last time. So go forwards, and then 10, let's say. Now you can see that the turtle is going forward 10. Because I did it really fast, but I hit enter, and then I exited the screen, so just so you know. So you type the line, and then you hit enter. So, go forwards 10, we can tell it go right, and then you can see it turned. We can tell it go, let's say, back 5, and now it's going back. And as you can see, so we don't have a place to put our cursor in right here, because the turtle was going back 5. 5 just happens to be over here, I think. Yes, so now we have a flashing cursor. So basically the turtle was going back, and then it got stuck on a block, and we told it to go back 5, so it was just waiting until it had room, and now it went back 5. And now it's done, so as you can see, if I break that, the turtle doesn't try to go back any farther because it's already done its 5. We can tell it go up, and I can't be standing on top of it while it's going up. We can tell it go up, let's say 6, and you can see it goes way up, probably a little too high. Let's bring it back down. Go down, let's say 7, because we told it to go up 1 and then we told it to go up 6, so that should set it right back down on the ground. There we go, and we have our cursor to continue. So we can do all kinds of things with the turtle like that. This is the basic interface of the turtle. Basically, we can also have, if we want to do, like, for this, we have to type in the command. Every time we want to do something, we have to type in the command, basically. So that's not very helpful for making automation. But what we can do, let's just take this out into the open again. So go forward, let's say, not 50, let's say 5. And turn right, and go forwards 5 again. Why don't we go 5? And there's a hole in the ground that's kind of bugging me, so I'm gonna fill it up. There we go. Actually, there was a piece of sand down there, wasn't there? So I'm gonna pick up the sand. Ooh, there's 2 pieces of sand. Now let's fill it up with dirt. There we go. So here's the turtle. So as you can see, every time we want it to do something, we have to type in for it to do it. So there's a way where we can program it so that basically it runs a whole bunch of different commands, one after the other, until it's done, and we don't have to program in each one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to restart the turtle first of all. So Control. Well then, I just noticed a problem. That my screen recorder, I had a key command for starting and stopping recording, and that key command happened to be Control R, which is the same as restarting the turtle. So when I restarted the turtle, I got an egg. The screen recorder stopped. So yeah, so now we're back and running again. So let's just set this back to the way it was before I accidentally stopped the recorder. There we go. So actually, in case you're wondering, DIR, gotta get my fingers in the right order. DIR basically stands for directory, which basically like folders, whichever name, they're basically the same thing, I think. But well, there might be a technical difference, but they're essentially the same thing. So like what you know as like folders or directories or whatever, that's what DIR is. So it tells you what programs you have on the computer. So right now we just have ROM, which is not anything we're interested in. So, alright, so back to the subject at hand. So what we want to do, I'm going to restart the turtle again. Control R. There we go. And it did it successfully without stopping the screen recorder this time. So what we want to do, we want to create a program which is basically just a set of instructions for the computer that it will run starting at the beginning and keep running until it's done. So we tell it edit and then tell it the name of the program that we want. So let's say trying stuff. There we go. So we just edited a program. So basically, here's a little technical explanation. So if you're not interested in the technical explanation, just whatever, don't listen or whatever. But basically, a technical explanation: the edit command. If you tell it edit, and then you tell it the program name. Basically, if that program exists, then it will edit the program that exists. And if you tell it to edit, and then you tell it a name that doesn't exist, then it will create a new program and edit that one. So basically, there's no command, as far as I know, there's no command to edit, like, there's no command to create a program specifically. It's just the edit command, and then if there isn't a program by that name, it will create one. So anyways, so that's the technical explanation. Basically, all you need to know is to make a program, you just type edit. So now here we have our program. So you can see it's got nothing in it. At the bottom it says saved to trying stuff, and on the right it says line 1. So, and if we press Control, then here's our menu. So save and exit, and yeah, so save and exit are the two options we have. So we can save, but there's nothing in the program right now, so it's basically useless at this point. So, in case you're wondering, well, why on earth did you make a piece of useless item here called a turtle? Well, it is not actually useless. It is incredibly useful. However, at the current moment, it is completely useless because we haven't told it to do anything. So, we need to tell it to do stuff. So, what I was doing before with go forward, go left, go right, all that kind of stuff, we can do the same thing here. Although we need to basically we need to word it in a way that the computer understands. So tell it, instead of just saying like go forwards, we tell it turtle.forward, and then open bracket, close bracket. So that's the same thing as we did before, telling it to go forward, just it's part of the programming language. It's just a way of making the computer understand. So if we exit this program now, and let's restart, Control R. So check our directory. We got, okay, trying stuff is now a program that is on this computer. So basically, now we can run trying stuff. So let's just, rather than typing edit trying stuff, we just type trying stuff, which is the name of our program. There we go. And enter, and you can see, if you can sort of see behind the menu here, the turtle just moved. So let's go back and edit trying stuff again, and what we can do, turtle.forward, let's say we want it to go forward 10 spaces or something. I don't think it will work to type 10 in here. I'm not sure. Let's just try that. So trying stuff, no. So you can see it just went forward again. So what we have to do, I'm not entirely sure that I'm explaining this in a way that can be easily understood. But anyways, turtle.forward. So basically, if we want it to go forward again, what we need to do is type turtle, whoops, that's not how you spell turtle. Turtle, and okay, let's do it on the correct line. Turtle.forward, open bracket, close bracket, turtle.forward, open bracket, close bracket, and basically every time we want to go forward, we need to type it in. So let's say we want to go 5 times, then it would have to be turtle.forward. There we go. So we got it in 5 times. So basically what the turtle will do is it will start at the beginning here. It'll run this first line of code, and then it will run the second line of code. Let's do it this way. So there we go. Run the first line, run the second line, run the third line. It'll run the fourth line. It'll do all that kind of stuff until it gets to the end, and then it will just simply stop. So let's save and exit, and let's run, what did we call it? Trying stuff. There we go. Let's run our program called trying stuff. So now it will move forward 5 times. There you go. So it was somewhere around here. So now it moved forward 5. Yes, it did. Stop arguing with me. Cows are always arguing with me. Anyways, so I'm not entirely sure that I'm explaining this very well, but hopefully you're understanding or whatever. But if anything that I'm explaining, if it doesn't make sense or it gets too confusing or whatever, then just leave a comment, I guess, and I'll try to clarify next time or sometime whenever whenever I happen to record again. But yeah, so I'll try and clarify it later on if there's anything that doesn't make sense. So here we are. So the turtle, it starts at the beginning of the program, runs through to the end. So it does turtle.forward, 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 turtle.forward. So it goes forward, 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 forward 5 times. And basically, so as you can tell, probably you're noticing that if we wanted it to go a lot farther, then that would be a lot of lines of code, so we'd have to type that in every single time that we want it to go forward. Well, thankfully we don't have to do that, because there's a nice feature of this called, what's it called? Loops. So it's called a loop. So what we can do is basically, instead of writing the command in every time, we can do different things. So I'm just going to delete all of these that are here. So we can type turtle.forward again, and what we can do, instead of having to write it a bunch of times, so let's say we want it to go 10 times, we can tell it to loop, and there's 3 different kinds of loops. And the first kind that I'm going to demonstrate here is, it's called a for loop. So basically we tell it for, and then put some sort of variable. So if you remember from math, or if you maybe didn't do this yet in math or whatever, but basically I'll explain a variable. A variable is basically, you can use a letter in place of whatever number you want. As long as, like, so in programming here, we can, if we made a variable, let's say we called it, well, I, like we're doing here, then it'll be I, like, so basically whatever number, we can make I mean whatever number, if that makes any sense. Let's see if it makes more sense down here. So, like, if we said, let's say, x is equal to, let's say, 10. Then what this means is that instead of having to write, well, instead of 10, let's say, like, a kajillion, okay? So x is equal to 1 kajillion. And so basically then what we need to do is, like, instead of having to write 1 kajillion every time, if we want to use it later on in the program or whatever, instead of having excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied again. Instead of having to write 1 kajillion every time we want to use it later, we just write x, and then it'll turn out as 1 kajillion. So let me, I'm just going to move to this screen over here. So, because I can actually, this is basically the same thing as a program, except you can get your results, like, you can do it live as you're talking, basically. So if we say x is equal to 1 kajillion, there we go. So now all we have to do, we just type x, then hit enter, and it'll tell us 1 kajillion. You see? So that's the advantage of a variable, is basically a variable. And then we can say again, so like, if we do it again, x, and then it says 1 kajillion. X, 1 kajillion. We can even do other things, like let's say y is nil. Basically, nil means there's nothing. Y doesn't mean anything because we haven't told it that it means something yet. So y equals, let's say 7, 8, 9, 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6, 0. There we go. So now if we type y, we got that big number. If we got x, we got that number. We can type whichever one we want. and it'll keep giving us that number. We can even, why it's called a variable is because you can type x and then tell it equals, so it equaled 1 kajillion before, and tell it x equals, let's say, 6. So now if we type x again, now it says 6 instead of saying 1 kajillion. And it doesn't matter how many times we type x, it still says 6. And we can still type y, and it says the same thing as before. We can type x, it says 6. So it's basically just typing a letter or something instead of a whole big thing every time. And that's basically what a variable is. Now, in programming, you can use pretty much anything you want as a variable, with some exceptions. Like, I think a variable can't start with a number, so like you can't say like 9 tree or something equals, let's say, 10 for input string 9 tree. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but basically a variable name can't start with a can't start with a number, but we could say tree equals 10. So then every time we type tree, it'll say 10. Tree, 10. Tree, 10. Like that. So it can be anything you want. It can even be like, this is, and it can't have spaces. That's the other thing. This is a very long variable name. There we go. This is a very long variable name equals 73. So now if we type, this is a very long variable name, again, it'll say 73. So it can be however long you want, it can be whatever you want, as long as it doesn't start with a number, doesn't have a space. There might be a few other things, but basically just try something, and if it doesn't work, just stick with text, and you're pretty much set that it's going to be okay. So that's variables. So, and it doesn't even have to equal a number. So let's use tree again. Tree, so right now it equals 10, but it doesn't have to equal a number. We can tell it tree equals, and then we can put in a piece of text. So in programming, in this programming language at least, a piece of text is basically, it's called a string. So a string, let's say tree equals hello, let's say. Now as you can see, hang on, tree. So as you can see, tree nil basically didn't work. The reason it didn't work is because the computer just looks at that and it's like, what is that? And so it doesn't do anything with it, basically. So we need to put quotes around it to tell the computer that hello is a string of text and not like whatever else it could be. So if we put quotes around it, now the computer knows that that is a string of text. So now if we type tree, it'll say hello. Every time we type tree, it says hello. So now we're talking to a tree, apparently. So anyways, so it can be a string of text. It can even be a programming command. So like if we say, let's say tree, and then is equal to, and let's say turtle.forward. There we go. So now what will happen, so you can see the turtle is here. It's lined up with the furnace right now. Now every time I type tree, then it says true. Wait a second. Something's wrong. What am I doing wrong? Hang on, let me look this up. Okay, so I just looked it up. I'm not entirely sure how this works. I tried different things. Something I did moved the turtle. If you're someone who knows the programming, basically here's the screen of what I did. and something in there moved the turtle, but yet if I type tree, it just says true, and it doesn't do anything. So if you're someone who knows programming, if you could explain to me, because I looked it up on the ComputerCraft wiki and everything, and I didn't understand what was going on. So yeah, so if you're someone who knows programming, if you can explain to me what it is I'm doing wrong, then that would be wonderful. But basically, there's some way to get a function as to get a command as a variable, but I'm not entirely sure what that way is. But anyways, so yeah, so variables can be a lot of different things. So I'm going to restart the turtle again and get back into the software that we're programming here. So get rid of this this whole x equals 1 kajillion thing. So back to here. So turtle.forward, so we can tell it to do that. So basically I was explaining a loop. So we can tell it to do that basically as many times as we want. So for I is a variable, and part of the for loop we can tell it equals, so what we were doing before with like x equals this, or y equals this, or tree equals this, or whatever, I equals 1 to start with, let's just say, and I think these can be any numbers you want, but, and part of the for loop is for I equals 1 to whatever number you want, let's say 16, do, and then it will do this code, and then end. So basically part of the for loop is just, it will run this code, and the first time it runs it, it'll say I equals 1. And then it will run the code again, and make I equal to 2, and run it again, so it'll go forward again, and then it'll make I equal 3, and it'll do it again, and then it'll do I equal 4, and I equal 5, I equal 6, and everything like that, all the way until I equals 16. And then when I equals 16, then it will stop. So basically what this will do is it'll make it go forward 16 times. So exit. So let's restart the turtle, and let's run trying stuff. So you can see here, it's going to go forward 16 times until, there we go, that was 16, and now it's done. So hopefully I'm making this make sense. So yeah, and we can change this to whatever number we want. So let's say we make it 30, then we can then it will go forward 30, except that there's blocks in the way. So let's turn it. So first go, actually, let's edit our program. We need to turn because it won't be able to go forward 30 because there's a block in the way. So turn it. So before we start the loop, tell it turtle.turn left. Open bracket, close bracket. And so there we go. So now it'll turn left, and then it will go forward 30 times. So save, exit, restart, and run trying stuff. So you can see it just turned, and now it's going forward, and it'll go forward 30 times, and then when it's done 30 times, then it will turn around. Well, actually, no, it won't turn around. It'll just stop, because that's all we told it to do. So now it's just sitting out here in the middle of the lake, because that's all we told it to do. So if we edit trying stuff again, so we can tell it as many times as we want. This is part of the for loop. And then there's different types of loops. So we can tell it, instead of a for loop, we can tell it there's 3 different types. So another type is while. So while, let's say 0 is equal to 0, do, and then do the code, and then end. That's just to tell it where the end of the loop is. So So basically what this does, instead of, oops, what am I doing? Okay. Instead of saying turtle.forward, let's say turtle.turn right. Let's say. Open bracket, close bracket. So what a while loop does, so a for loop is basically whatever the number is you put, like however many times it does, it makes the variable, it increases it by 1 every time. So we started with I equals 1, and every time it runs the code again, so it does the for loop, it gets down to where it says end and then goes back up to the top of the loop, and it'll keep doing that. And so the for loop, basically for whatever number we put, it will keep going that number of times and then stop. The while loop is different, because what it'll do is it checks if something's true. So while 0 is equal to 0, do turn right. Basically what that does is it checks. So it goes while, it checks, is 0 equal to 0? And then it's like, yep, 0 is equal to 0. And so then it will turn right, and then it reaches the end, so then it goes back up to the top of the loop. It checks again, 0 is still equal to 0. It's like, yep, all right. So, and then it does it again, and then it goes back up to the top. It's like 0 is still equal to 0. All right, so then it goes, and it keeps going like that. So it's, this is just a very simple type of while loop, but they're actually useful for a lot more than just 0 is equal to 0. But anyway, so it checks if it's true, and it turns right. So basically, we have it till here, it's going to turn left, and then it's going to start the loop, and it's going to keep turning right. So save, exit, trying stuff, and you can see it turns left, and then it starts turning right. And you can see it is just going to keep turning right for as long as, I think it kind of hung up for a bit there, but anyways, it's just going to keep turning right for as long as we want it to. So there you go. So it's going to keep turning right infinitely unless I go in and tell it to stop. So Control T, terminate the program, and now it just stopped. So there you go. So that's the second type of loop. And then there's a third type of loop, which is called a repeat loop. So it basically works like this. So at the top, you say repeat, and then at the end, you say until, and then you give it some condition. So basically, let's say 0 is equal to 0. Same thing as before. We could say that, although I don't really see how that would be useful. But we could say repeat until, let's say, tree equals 1. Let's say. So then we could do that. And so then it'll keep, what it'll do this way is it will keep checking. It will turn left, and then it'll run down, repeat, and then it will turn right, and then it will check, is tree equal to, oops, sorry. There we go. Is tree equal to 1? And then it'll be like, no, tree, because in this particular program, tree doesn't mean anything yet. We haven't told it anything. So it'll say, is tree equal to 1? And it's like, nope, tree doesn't equal anything. So then it will repeat. And it'll turn right again, and then it'll check, is tree equal to 1? And it'll keep repeating until tree is equal to 1. So let's see if it does that the way I'm expecting it to. Trying stuff. So now it's turning right. Yes, okay, so it's good, because that would have looked very stupid if I had messed that up. But anyways, so here we go. So we got the turtle is now constantly rotating because it keeps checking if tree is equal to 1 and tree is not equal to 1. So basically, so we've got variables there, we've got loops, we've got actually 3 different kinds of loops, and so that's basically, with that you can do a whole lot already. And then there's different things. There's functions is another thing. Then there's if statements, and basically, and with those basic tools, the tools of variables, loops, if statements, functions, you can get the turtle to do basically anything that you want it to do. So we're going to, next time, because I think this episode has been quite long at this point. It's kind of hard to tell because my screen recorder has been stopped along the way. But anyways, so next time we're going to take all those tools that we just learned, plus the functions and the if statements. We're going to take those tools and we're going to use them next time to be able to get the turtle to go from the surface to the caves, up to the surface, to down underground to the surface, and all that kind of stuff, and take lava buckets back and forth, put lava buckets into a chest, take them out of a chest, and all that kind of stuff. So basically that's what we're going to be doing next episode, and hopefully you enjoyed the video, and come back next time if you want to see more. And again, if anything, because I don't think my explanation came out as easily understandable as I was hoping for. So basically, if anything didn't make sense or whatever, then just let me know, and I will try to clarify, try to make it make more sense. And yeah, so anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and see you later. Bye-bye.